I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're here to look at the Dead Center V2 Carbon Stabilizer. It's new. Well, it's new for me. Literally just rocked up in my store, so I'm here to test it, see what it's like, compare it to its competitors on the market, and see how this thing stacks up. Now, first off, when we look at stabilizers, especially hunting stabilizers, you've got to say, what's the purpose of fitting this to this? Now, the purpose of a stabilizer is to stabilize your bow, so to stop you shaking. So basically, if you look at it like you're walking along a tightrope, having the big bar makes it harder for you to move. So if you've got a compound bow, whether it be target or hunting, the longer the stabilizer, the more weight you have on that stabilizer further away from your hand, the harder it is for you to move your bow. So the more steady your sight pin's going to be, providing you can hold up the weight. So your top target shooters have these massive long stabilizers with huge amounts of weight, but you've got to shoot a lot to be able to hold that weight up. Hunting is exactly the same, but you're trying to balance the weight of the bow with the weight of the stabilizer and make it feel good. So your traditional hunting stabilizers are not as long and the weight is not as heavy. Now with the Dead Center stabilizer, it comes with weights and it comes with spare weights so you can affect the balance of the bow. So when I was comparing this stabilizer to other stabilizers on the market, I picked out these ones behind me, which I'm going to talk about. Now, the Dead Center stabilizer comes in various lengths, 6, 8, 10, 12, and it comes in various colors. Pretty much any color you can think of for any bow is available in Dead Center stabilizer. Now, the Dead Center stabilizers make quite a few different models. This is their top of the range. I didn't bother with their bottom of the range. I thought, well, let's just stick with the top of the range stabilizer. This in Australia retails for $100. So slightly cheaper for shorter stabilizers, same price for carbon and black. So the stabilizer itself, carbon thin bar, it has here bow jacks, stabilizer dampeners, and I think it has some other stuff inside it. Now to compare it with the Bee Stinger, same length, 10 inch, it has weights down the end, 3 weights. The Dead Center has 4 weights, and it has a limb saver stabilizer, a dampener there. So basically, to me, it's a similar product. This in Australia sells for $100. This in Australia sells for $129. So unless the Bee Stinger is substantially better, this would be a better buy, in my opinion. Now, the other reason why you would prefer to go for the Dead Center over the Bee Stinger is the Dead Center comes in all the range of color. When I say range of colors, all the different camos. The Bee Stinger does not. So, and in Australia, I'm not sure what colors they're doing the Bee Stinger in for this year, because I know the distributor's not bringing in all the colors. So, now the other companies who do a stabilizer, Trophy Ridge do this one. This is called the, oh God, I can't even remember the name. Static stabilizer. Now the issue with this is it only comes, I think it comes in 2 sizes, 9 and 6 inch, and it does have the ability to put weights on the end, but to me it's not as functional. Price point on this is around $80, so it is more expensive. Now I thought to myself, well, I'm mainly a PSE dealer. I do sell Matthews and Hoyt and all the other brands, Bear, Win and Win, and other brands, but I thought, well, if I'm comparing stabilizers, let's pick top of the line PSE. Now this is the Vitron stabilizer from PSE, adjustable weights, rubber in the center. Now the issue is this only comes in a 6 inch stabilizer, so it's not the 10 inch, so you're not getting the more customizable features. So to me this is, I'm going to say, a cheaper stabilizer. So for someone who's not as fussy, this would be right up your alley. But for me, it's not a fair comparison to the Bee Stinger and the Dead Center, because it doesn't come with various length options. The weight's not as simple because it's not a universal weight system, so it's not giving you the functionality and the ability to customize your bow as much. Price point on this is probably around the $70. So to me, the only two to really compare is the Bee Stinger to the Dead Center, because they are comparable products. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up on a Carbon Air, and compare both products and see which product is better and value for money, how they sort of stack up. So let's have a go. Now, the first thing when it comes to stabilizing your bow, the purpose of a stabilizer, as I said, is to stabilize your bow, absorb vibration and noise. Now, if you start off with a cheap bow, absorbing vibration and noise, the bows are going to be pretty noisy and they're going to have vibration. I've picked here a Carbon Air, which, you know, I'm going to say a little bit unfortunate. It's a $2,000 bow, so there's very little vibration, very little shock when I shoot this bow. But I want to compare it first. Now, why did I choose this bow? To do a test comparing stabilizers. This is an extremely light bow. It weighs about 3 pounds, and I found when I was shooting this for, when I say target archery, simulated hunting, field archery, I found this bow a bit light, and I wanted to add stabilizers to it to make me more stable. So for me, the stabilizer is extremely critical on this bow. So for me, because this bow is so light, I need to add stabilizers, and I probably need to add a front and a back stabilizer to balance it up to make the bow more stable for me when I'm shooting. So we'll first off compare the shock and vibration. Now when I shoot that bow, you feel a little bit of, it feels a little bit like that when it comes out. So definitely it's going to benefit from the stabilizer. But it's pretty good. There's not much vibration to it when you shoot it. I mean, it's a good bow. It's a $2,000 bow. So let's just grab this out of the pack. Now the first thing about this stabilizer, I picked black, is this here is machined. Now they've come with, I'm going to say, a little hex thing, so you can put a spanner on it and lock this thing up. There's nothing worse than your stabilizer coming loose. Now that function does not exist on the Bee Stinger. The Bee Stinger is only hand tight, so it does have the ability to come loose when you're shooting. All the dead centers have this ability, so you can put a spanner on it and lock it in place. So to me, is that a good thing? I think it looks a little bit better than the Bee Stinger overall. You be the judge. It's a very simple stabilizer. It has a little washer. I think it looks simple. The rod itself is about the same width as the Bee Stinger. It's extremely light. Like, it's light as a stabilizer. There's very little. You can see now when I shoot, the bow leans forward. But when I actually shoot the bow, because I'm heeling the bow, because the pressure is actually there on the bow. Sorry, the pressure is actually there. The bow shoots up a little bit like that, so the stabilizer will fix that. So let's see how this bow shoots with this stabilizer. I like the look of the stabilizer. I think it looks kind of cool on the bow. One of my friends on Facebook shoots these stabilizers on his PSEs, and they look cool. I didn't know what they were until he sort of told me about the company, but let's just... You can see the bow didn't jump up. The bow was noticeably better with vibration. Noticeably. I could feel it straight off the shot. I wouldn't say the bow was any quieter. I would need a sound meter to measure it, but the vibration, miles better. I'll just do another one. Yeah, see, there's no movement at all on the bow. The stabilizer's light, and in fact with this bow, if I was only using this stabilizer and no rear stabilizer, that would be the perfect balance. Looks pretty good. Like, would I prefer a carbon finish because it's a carbon bow? Maybe, but I think it looks pretty cool on a carbon bow. Black is a really popular color these days. You sell as many black bows as you do carbon. So overall, that's a good stabilizer. Like, no vibration. It's definitely taking the vibration out of the Carbon Air. I could feel it, and there was minimal vibration to start with, but definitely better and definitely worth $100. So like I said, when I sort of did a video on opening the dead center products, and I really didn't know what I was buying. I was just taking on what customers said, whether this was a good product or not a good product, and people said this is a good product. Dead center, all they make is stabilizers. That's it. They manufacture it. They have CNC machines. They have, I think, 20 people working in the factory, and they've been making stabilizers for a number of years. I think it's 10, 12 years. My understanding of manufacturing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but if a company makes sights, they become good at making sights. If a company makes everything, so sights, stabilizers, bows, I'm not naming the company, they tend to lose the speciality on that product. So Bee Stinger, this is the Bee Stinger product. I think Dead Center has so much vested interest in making a good stabilizer. That's all they do. They only make stabilizers. That if they stuff it up, that's their company, that's their job. If I'm going to pick Bee Stinger, because that's what I'm testing. If Bee Stinger doesn't sell stabilizers, they sell arrows. I'm not picking on them for going, oh yeah, look, they make gold tip arrows. It's still carbon, and obviously there's a natural cross flow, but it's not as critical. If you only make stabilizers, and that's what you make every single day, you need to make a good stabilizer. If you don't, you're out of the business. Now, first off, this stabilizer is substantially heavier. Now, it does have 3 weights. That's only 1 ounce. I can feel the difference in the stabilizer. The balance doesn't feel as good straight off on the bow. The bow feels extremely like it's fast in the drop down. Now, I've shot one of these. I've shot a Bee Stinger on my hunting bow for, I'm going to say forever. Always been happy with stabilizers. I have had issues with the wrap. So Bee Stingers come with a wrap, a stabilizer wrap, and I've had several returned because the wrap starts to peel, and whether people peel it with their fingernails or not, I don't know, but people have returned the stabilizers to me because of the wrap peeling. But overall, the black itself is a paint finish, and I should say on the Dead Center camo finish, Dead Center use a fusion dip process, so basically it can't come off. So when you're comparing the Sports Hunter Bee Stinger, which is a wrap process, to the Dead Center, which is a fusion some sort of process, the Dead Center is going to be far better process in the camo finish, as far as lasting. And I mean, it's basically not possible for that thing to wear out. So I'm going to have no returns of Dead Centers, where I do have returns of the Bee Stingers. So now let's see what this thing's like. Oh, I don't know if you can feel it. Sorry, I don't know if you can see it, but I can feel the difference. I'm not sure why. If you just look at the hand, and I mean the stabilizer, I'll try and get in the shot. I get more vibration with this stabilizer than the Dead Center. I can't tell you why. And I get more left to right vibration. Don't know why. Because to me, these stabilizers should be the same. In fact, this should be better because it has more weight on the end. It's definitely heavier, so I get more downward movement. So for me to shoot this, I would probably remove 1 weight to get optimal balance. The Bee Stinger is a quality product, but when I compare both, Bee Sting is more expensive. It doesn't have the lock-on system. The camo finish is far superior on the Dead Center. The Dead Center has 4 weights versus 3. The Dead Center is 30% cheaper. So to me, the Dead Center kind of kicks it in price. I think it's a far superior product at its price point. And even if it was the same price, it'd be a superior product, in my opinion. And tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, when I got Dead Center, I did ask specifically to all the shops who were advising me. I said, I need a product superior to Bee Stinger. I need it to be, it can even be more expensive, but give me a product that is superior in performance and superior in finish and everything else. And this Dead Center company came up over and over again as a superior product. I don't know about their target stabilizers. I haven't tested them. I don't think they look as good. They're clearly stiff. Their carbon is amazing, but I don't think they look as good as a target stabilizer. But their hunting stabilizers, man, that's it. That's what I'm shooting. Now I do want to try, in my next video I'm going to do the one with the twin system, the front and the back, so you can balance it up with the V-bar system. Because for me, with the Carbon Air, which is my choice of hunting boat, field boat, I want a front stabilizer and a back stabilizer to give me that perfect balance. Now the Dead Center kit in that is $300, the Bee Sting is $400. In America these prices may be different, because you know that's the way pricing is. But for me, $100 difference between Bee Stinger and Dead Center, it's a no-brainer, especially if the Dead Center is a superior product. Now there could be other products out in the marketplace which compete against the Dead Center stabilizer, and I did bring in Atomic hunting stabilizers, and I didn't compare them in this review because they didn't come with weights. There was no packaging, and Atomic told me they're now doing packaging for their stabilizers. They are including weights now in their packaging. After I did the video, they said we're going to change that, we're adding it. I think Atomic make a nice product, but I can't compare it because I don't have the same thing. But to me, that is the best stabilizer I've shot. And you know, don't take my word for it. Go to an archery shop, shoot the product, and compare it. And go, look, I want to shoot that Dead Center, I want to shoot the Sports Hunter, and compare it for myself to see if this guy in Australia is talking bull because he sells this product. I still sell Bee Stinger, right? I still sell Bee Stinger. Which one do I make the most money on? Maybe the Bee Stinger. Probably the Bee Stinger. But I do this. I hadn't shot this before this video. That was my first shot with this stabilizer. To me, it feels better. But go and try it. I always say to customers, go and try the product. See it for yourself. Don't take the word of the salesperson for it unless you trust them 100%. To me, it's a better system. I love the lock-on feature. Their target stabilizers have the lock-on feature as well, which is great because you lock it, don't have to think about it, don't have to worry about it coming loose. The anodizing on the CNC machining is good. I've dropped it on concrete, basically didn't mark it. So to me, good product. Happy I chose this as a product to add to my store. Dead Center stabilizers, check them out in your local archery shop. Huge range of colors for whichever bow you've got. They have a color to suit, and they have all the colors, so they have all the different lengths. So if you don't want to go 10 inch, you want more compact. If you want more compact, then you can add more weight to it. I kind of like 10 inch because I don't want to add a lot of weight to my hunting bow. I want to keep my hunting bow light, so I prefer longer with less weight here to get the balance. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. The more you shoot, the better you're going to shoot. Thank you. Bye.